Okay. On the chance that you haven't seen my other Mushoku Tensei reactions, I'll just let you know my thoughts right now. Rudeus is a fucking pedophile and a rapist and a groomer. So this show is really fun for me to watch, and it definitely doesn't take me like 3 hours to watch 4 episodes because of how much I pause to rant. This fucking cat. He just keeps walking by my computer menacingly. I can't let him do that when I literally can't even see him. So, unless he runs upstairs finally, gotta keep him here. Within the first 3 days of me making my new computer, he jumped on top of it and hit the power button, shutting it down instantly. He's a little bastard. He immediately turned around. Oh my god, he's right behind me. He's rubbing up against my computer. This little piece of fucking shit. He immediately walks back up to my hand and starts nuzzling it. What the fuck? And the moment I go to pick him up, he starts running away. I need to fucking keep an eye on him. I go to pick him up and he fucking runs away. What? He seems comfy in my arms for now, so I'm gonna start the episode finally. It only took me 7 fucking minutes.
Wow! Look, Rudeus! It's the ocean!
Oh, yeah. By the way, I feel like I should mention, it's been 2 months since I watched the first court. No, you're not leaving. So my memory of the events is a little bit fuzzy. All I remember is that Paul was a dick and Rudy is a cunt. And all the women are cardboard cutouts. And pedo bait.
Eris is 13 now, and it's been a while since I snuck a peek.
Jesus Christ. We still not have an opening? Okay. Still no opening. That's so weird. Okay, my memory of the plot is they got teleported away. There's the creep who's really obsessed with the innocence of kids and who's kind of a dumbass. And they're trying to get home after a big disaster thing, trying to just teleport them randomly across the planet. That's about how I remember things.
We've got nicknames?
And you're... Give me a sec. It's
Oh,
on
the
the tip of my
suspense is
tongue.
killing me. I just hope it's not Horn Dog or something.
Oh yeah,
Really?
Rudy Jerd.
Sure, I borrow his name sometimes to help boost his rep, but can I be my own dude for 5 seconds?
Your own dude is Horn Dog! Why did you not want your nickname to be the most accurate fucking descriptor possible? This dude got unreasonably excited over the thought of seeing a 13-year-old girl stripped down to nothing, and he's mad about the prospect of the nickname Horn Dog. Come the fuck on.
I've busted my buns for a year now. Give me a little recognition.
Wait, it's
Kettle
been that
Master isn't
long?
my nickname, though. I'd love to muzzle Eris sometimes.
Jesus Christ.
Ruijerd's passage by ship will cost 200 green ore coins. That's more than we've made in a
Got
year.
it.
Even if we prioritize S-ranked jobs, we may never raise enough.
Has it been a year since the last episode, or was there a time skip that I forgot?
How am I gonna get us out of this one?
Kinda hope you don't.
Hey there!
You don't deserve to
It's
have any
been a
skill or
while.
talent.
But no, you decided to recruit them. I never saw that coming. Though, I gotta admit, I had a blast watching it play out.
Yeah, well, it sucked for me.
My memory of the first core is not good.
So the ends justify the means.
To everyone who has ever tried to claim that Rudeus is just a child with the memories of his past life, and thereby it isn't pedophilic for him to lust after other children, his mental form is a 40-year-old man. Nuff said.
Buy some food from a street vendor, and take a stroll through the back alley.
Show me on the doll where I asked.
I can't tell you everything, friend. Wouldn't want to spoil the surprise. So then, I'll be on my way.
Hey!
Bye.
You can't just come and go as you please.
If they don't explain the God thing within this season, I'm going to get a little bit annoyed. If it's not explained by the end of next season, it's fucking stupid. having gods is one thing, getting advice in dreams is another. What is happening here is the writer creating a self-insert other than Rudius, who then goes into the story randomly to tell Rudius what the fuck to do. That's so lazy.
What do you think he's up to?
Your focus should stay on your opponent.
I hate how good the animation in this show is. Especially compared to ReZero.
You're wide open!
Because ReZero deserves better animation and budget so much fucking more than this show.
So this time, I'm gonna follow their instructions to the letter. I won't think about it too hard or stray off course. That'll keep them from having any fun.
Press X to doubt.
Doesn't that just make me a puppet?
Yes.
And Zena and Menzoe.
This fucking cat! Yeah, I see you there, you little shit. Don't dig into my desk. Oh my god. The upside to doing this with sunglasses, I didn't have to worry about not seeing him. Jesus Christ. Oh my god.
You have my deepest thanks. Yeah! Yeah!
What the fuck is that outfit?
Kid.
You really expect me to believe this author isn't a fucking pedophile when this is how he designs his female characters? You can try to justify Rudius all you fucking want. There is no justifying character design. No matter how much you may think there is justification for it, there never is. Because if lore supports their design, that is because the author wrote that lore to support the design so that people would foolishly try to argue that the design makes sense within the lore. I hate that this show has elements that are worth watching for, because it means I have to put up with this shit. I'll be fully fucking honest with you. Mineta from My Hero Academia is better written than Rudius. Because the author has never painted Mineta in a positive light. He is the butt of every joke. Every time he tries to sexually assault someone, he's fucking abused because of it. And he's slapped around, and he's hit, and he's punched, and he's knocked on his ass, and he's the joke character, and his design makes him look pathetic. Rudius does worse things and is treated like the fucking hero. But yeah, if that's not enough to explain how this show is like legitimately just pedophilic, there's no justification, how about this bitch's design? Like, what the fuck? This is why I am very fucking glad that ReZero Season 3 experienced some design changes in the characters. Because my god, some of those initial designs were fucking awful. And in the trailer, they revealed that they weren't fucking awful anymore. They were just questionable at worst. And I'm fine with that. Especially considering Subaru has never tried to fucking grope or rape any of the children in the show. He just thinks the lollies are fucking cute. That's it. Okay, let's try to avoid going off on the pedophilia rants for the rest of this episode. 13 minutes. I can do that. I totally can do that.
I beg your pardon.
Is this the voice actor I think it is? Also, I'll be honest, a large part of the reason this show frustrates me to the level it does is because of the fan base. Like, a fair amount of people watch this show and are like, yes, a lot of elements of it are good, but oh my god, the themes are so horribly done and Rudius is a fucking pedophile and it's so frustrating to watch because the rest of the show is good. I'm fine with those people. I get those people. But so many people try to fucking justify it, or worse yet, don't even fucking bother and make it blatantly obvious that it's fucking wish fulfillment for them. Which is so damning. Like, you cannot make your feelings more obvious when you do that. Yeah, that's exactly who I thought it was. Jamie Marchi. I am extremely curious what the voice actors of this show think of it. Anyway, I made it 30 seconds before I brought up the fucking shit with that again. Okay. The fucking collar and chains on her arms is not helping my criticism of the design. It's so egregious.
I shall grant you one wish.
Okay. I'd
She's
like
really
that
annoying.
As well.
Out of the question! You want to rule out the whole world? That's a big wish! Unfortunately, I never conquered the world, so I don't have half to give.
It takes a lot of effort for you to write a character with this voice actor who's still annoying. This actress is really good with comedic roles and NSFW comedic roles. And she can be very charismatic and funny. This is just fucking grating.
I see.
This is so annoying.
Kind of.
Like a half second of future sight? That's
And
useless.
That's how I gained the Eye of Foresight.
That seems like such an annoying thing if you can't turn it off. That would be like having a permanent fucking speech jammer. That sounds like hell.
Ukwa, inseku wo watsue. Sigoro wacho.
You little...
That is a really good example of the type of thing that bothers me with the show. Rudius is a Gary Stu of the highest degree. All the girls are into him. Everyone listens to him despite his age. He masters powers beyond normal levels instantly. He's got a knack for those powers. He gets a new power and instantly manages to use it perfectly. Like, it is pure Gary Stu nonsense. For those who haven't heard that term before, it's the concept of a Mary Sue, but for a man. The only difference between this and other isekais is that it takes longer for him to get some of the powers. And even then, with stuff like that, there was no difficulty required. Solo leveling is arguably the best instance of power fantasy and Gary Stuism done right, because despite how completely overpowered and broken the main character is, he actively works for it and actively struggles a lot for it. Like, he is beaten to hell and back, and the fights are genuinely difficult, and you can see the struggle he goes through. Has Rudius really struggled much so far? Outside of the one instance where he planned something that went wrong and then wasn't fucking punished for it? You know, the fake kidnapping heiress deal? Like that whole thing? He planned that and then it went wrong and then he was never punished for starting it to begin with? You know, that whole thing? That's the only time when he struggled with something. And the fact that he wasn't punished in any way cancels that shit out 100 times over. The fact that people compare this to ReZero is baffling to me. In terms of general vibe, concepts, like I get the comparisons with it being an isekai and all that stuff, but comparing it in terms of writing, it is night and fucking day. The moment Subaru arrives in another world, the first thing he tries to do is save someone with magic that he has no idea how to use. It doesn't do anything because he doesn't have magic. In this, Rudius got a new power, and the next scene shows him perfectly mastering it. And getting that power took absolutely no effort on his part, and he was literally railroaded into doing so by the writer himself. The god is literally just a manifestation of the writer who points Rudius in the direction the plot needs him to go in order for him to get stuff. That is so egregiously stupid.
All right, Bruiser, let's go. Come on, hurry up.
Why are they
It took me about a week
chill
to
about a
really get the
demon
hang
lord?
of this foresight business. It was surprisingly easy once I got a feel for it.
Of course
Well,
it
I like
was.
silent spellcasting, actually. If I really focus, I can see about 2 seconds ahead, sometimes more.
What?
Here we go. But
Then why would you say
she's
2
blurry,
seconds like
and
it's
I
the
can
limit?
see 3 of her?
1 week.
Yes!
1 week, and it's perfected.
Thank
And he beats someone who's been training with swords for many years.
I'm leaving!
Eris.
What the fuck did you expect? You fucking choked her out.
I once knew a superb warrior with a demon eye, but he died before he was able to master it. Learning to control one in a
He
week
couldn't
was
survive
exceptional.
1 week?
Do you think I could even win against you now?
Your friend couldn't survive the 1 week it would have taken to master it? I'm not bothered by this whatsoever. I have been recording a single episode for 40 fucking minutes.
It's not like I worked hard for this eye or anything. Why'd I get so excited about beating Eris with a power I stumbled on by accident? It's basically cheating. Not to mention, I've wasted a whole week leveling up when I'm supposed to be focused on finding ways to get us home.
Where do you think you're going at this
So does
hour?
he actually learn anything from all this, or is that just lampshading, or...
I'm perfectly capable of rational discussion. I'd like to think I've learned some things about the world since I met you. I've learned how feared and deeply despised my
Maybe a
people
bit.
are to this day. And now, we're
Didn't you
faced
already
with
know
an
that?
impossible sum as a direct result.
I feel like that's
And in spite
something
of
you
all
already
that,
knew.
I caused this problem, and I would like to be part of the solution. So just tell me, why do you insist on shouldering this burden
Wait.
all
Why does his race play into it? Didn't they're literally disguising his race? What? The way he worded that made it sound like because of his race, someone's charging them more for passage, but he's hiding his race, isn't he? Isn't that the whole point of the bandana and the shaved head and all that?
Working with a smuggler, a criminal, would compromise your values. Even if it works, I'm not willing to fracture our party over it.
They've
So let's
bent
just
his
play by
values
the rules.
before. I feel like they might have explained this and I was just talking over it, but did they mention why they couldn't just do quests to get the money? I find it hard to believe that their basic expenses are so high that doing quests regularly doesn't give them an overall profit. Also, didn't they say it was 200? How the fuck do they not have 200 after a year?
Speaking to each other from the heart is hard work, but it's always worth it, yes?
Agree to disagree, as someone who's had
There.
many very real
Ooh,
and heartfelt
couple of
conversations.
tough guys. The name's Gallus Cleaner.
What? It's what? What is that design? I feel like I need to address my issues with designs, because in other shows, designs don't bother me. When designs start bothering me is when, one, they don't match the character. I imagine people who are fans of the show are also probably the type who played Stellar Blade. That was a problem I had with that. The entire game is based around collecting outfits, yet the main character never expresses interest in fashion of any degree, like at all. She doesn't care. If you're going to make that such a major part of the experience, why not make them like fashion and stuff? Why not add that as part of their character? The other thing is when it's blatantly fetishistic designs and it's in a story that's trying to convey serious themes. Everything people say about the show implies that it's trying to convey serious themes. So when it does anything of any sort that makes it feel like it's selective in what parts of it are supposed to be taken as themes you take with you into the real world, it's annoying. I feel like I probably didn't do a very good job of explaining that. If you have a very real theme you're trying to convey, and there's a level of morality and real life advice you're trying to convey, don't also include elements that aren't moral without criticizing those. when the villain of a story or the bad guy is doing immoral things, that's whatever. Like, they're the villain. That's the point. That's why Overlord isn't a problem for me when this is. Because Ainzul Gon is clearly the bad guy. He is just a monster, literally and figuratively. Rudius is not portrayed in a bad light. That's the problem. And the show has ideas of actual growth and self-improvement as themes, according to fans at least. You can't have themes of self-improvement if you're not willing to criticize the negative actions of a character. ReZero is about self-love. Subaru, throughout the early parts of Season 1, is not a great guy. He's not horrible, but he's not good. That semi-badness destroys his relationships, improving as a person to the point of being able to love yourself. That's not only the core theme, but it's supported by everything else in the narrative. Subaru has to grow as a person to beat the challenges in Season 1. He has to improve as a person to beat the challenges of Season 1. In Season 2, he has to learn to love himself to beat the challenges. Otherwise, he would have snapped. He has to learn that there are people who fucking care about him. Something he didn't even really understand because he didn't believe he was worthy of it. It takes that for him to beat the challenges that are present. Here, like, what is Rudius being forced to improve about himself in order to overcome the challenges? Like, he does flawed things, and then the story kind of just moves along, and then he fixes the problem completely separate from the things he needed to improve about himself. I do sometimes feel like I'm talking in circles with this show, but I'm not sure how, between the autism and the ADHD, my thoughts are very much not guaranteed to be understandable to a lot of people, and I'm aware of that, which means I over-explain it, which means oftentimes I probably end up explaining it even worse. But anyway, that's that episode. Fuck, there's 12 more. And that's just this season. From what I have heard, the ending portion of this season is really strong. The start of Season 2 is pretty strong. And then I remember around the time I did my first reactions, the new episode that had come out, I think it was called Parents, and it was received incredibly well. I really hope I can enjoy those episodes and look past some of the issues, some of the many issues that I have with this, because parts of the show are quite good. I just think so much of it is shallow. That's a good way to put it. It's shallow. The themes are there, but they don't go anywhere with them. The problems that I've criticized are raised, but it's more as lampshading than anything. The characters so far have also been really shallow. Like Ruijerd, I think is what they were calling him. I remember I had a hard time with that name before. But he was like so stubborn about his views earlier on, to the point that he was fucking killing people over it. And now he's just like, okay, yeah, let's work with disreputable people. Like is that how that works? Is that how developing as a person works? You can't have someone do something extreme to show their resolve or their stubbornness on a certain issue and then have that change with minimal effort. That's not how it works. If someone's willing to kill over something, it means a lot to them. A hell of a lot. I wish the 3 romantic interests were better developed, but I feel pretty confident in saying they're not going to get much in terms of quality development. They might go from a piece of cardboard to a piece of cardboard with a stand. I have such a hard time not criticizing this show because of what I know about how it progresses, because I've been spoiled on some elements of it. Because that means that certain things that may happen, I already have personal biases on how I feel about them because I know how things go. It's a very similar thing with what's been happening with My Hero Academia Season 7 reactions. Because of the knowledge that I've been given about the events later in the story, it's affecting my ability to enjoy events previously in the story because I know where those events are heading. Meanwhile, with a show like ReZero, I'm willing to give it more benefit of the doubt. And, like, Emilia is a really good example because it takes until episode 15 of season 2 before she has real, true agency. And that's just when her decision to have agency begins. It's not actually like when she makes her choices for herself. Those start happening a couple episodes later. But that's 40 episodes into the show before the female lead really gets significant development. For a lot of the show, she was relatively shallow. There were elements of her that offered depth, but they didn't go anywhere within the first season. Season 2 took those elements and developed them to fucking insanity. And that's the type of thing where early on someone might look at that show and view Emilia as a shallow character, and they wouldn't entirely be wrong. But judging the entire show based off of that, when part of the point is that she is currently shallow because she is reliant on others to a fault. Like, that's her arc. That is her arc. That is literally the point. With this, not only do I not feel like certain things are the point, I don't feel like they're going to change. Or in some cases, I know they're not going to change. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I already said that I was done with that episode, so that's now the actual end of that episode. Let's move on to the second one before I keep ranting, because I could talk in circles about the things that piss me off about the show for fucking hours. Because, I mean, so this wouldn't fix all of my problems, but it would fix a lot of them. Making it not an isekai. I do not think Rudius being reincarnated adds enough to this show. I don't know if that's going to change over time, but I do not feel like him being isekai is relevant enough to be a part of the story when so much of my issues with it are because of it being an isekai. Rudius would be far more forgivable as a character if he was literally just a horny child. But because of the fact that he has a 40-year-old's mind inside of him, it becomes less of perverted young boy and more of fucking sex offender. And him being isekai just feels like a gimmick. It doesn't feel relevant. It feels like a tool to make people who, frankly, look kind of like me. It's an excuse for them to have a power fantasy. Again, comparison to ReZero. Subaru being isekai'd is literally crucial to his development, even very early on. He has a hero complex at the start of the show, and I don't know if that's apparent to some people, but it's the more you watch that show, the more it's obvious just how much of a hero complex he has at the start, because he is familiar with the concept of isekai. Not only does that allow for jokes that the audience will get and references of that kind of thing, but it leads to him having expectations that he is the hero of the story, that he's an incredibly powerful being that will get all the girls. And then the story doesn't go that direction. It's way more meaningful that way. It actually adds weight and a level of depth to the isekai. And that's not even fucking mentioning what we learn about his actual history. Here it just feels like a gimmick. It feels like a tool to more easily... No, it doesn't even serve that purpose. So, a major reason why so many writers like isekai is because it makes it super, super easy to exposit. When you have a character who's not part of the world that then joins into the world, they have to be explained all the details of it. Now, that's not just an isekai thing. That's for everything. Harry Potter was a normal kid for many years until he was brought into the wizarding world, and he had to have everything explained. The exact same with Luke Skywalker. Frodo Baggins. Like, that's a common thing. Protagonists who aren't really familiar with the things they're getting into is common, because that means they learn things along with the audience. Isekai is a really easy way of making that happen. And I was going to say that that's pretty much all the isekai has been useful for up until now, but that's just not true, because Rudius has to learn these things regardless if he's growing up in this world. Like, we follow him since birth. We'd learn those things with him. Let's go. 1 hour on a single episode.